NFL is competitive and violent. However, players are expected to conduct themselves with a certain amount of respect when they are on national television. These are the most disrespectful moments in NFL history.
Illegal. Look at him peel back on celebrated on the star. That doesn't.
Typically, quarterbacks are treated with a little more respect than the rest of the players. It may not seem fair, but the reality is that they are often the most irreplaceable player on the field. Unfortunately, not all players abide by this unwritten rule. Like him or hate him, Aaron Rodgers has earned the respect from his peers by dominating the NFL for decades. Well, most of the NFL. On this play, Ndamukong Suh disrespected the future Hall of Famer by intentionally standing on his leg while he was down on the field. How rude and dangerous. This dude is over 300 pounds. Ouch. Rodgers isn't the only great quarterback that was treated like trash. The next player on our list proves that even the GOAT isn't immune to disrespect. Next is a play when the Lions did something extremely rare. They managed to stop Tom Brady on 3rd down. Instead of taking the high road and celebrating with his teammates, defensive end Willie Young lost his cool and shook his finger right in the face of Tom Brady. How dare he? That ain't cool, Willie. The Lions defender promptly got benched by his coach for his immaturity and then was fined by the NFL after the game. He messed with the wrong dude. On other instances, the quarterback is the one who instigates disrespect. Here is a play when a star quarterback doesn't only disrespect the opposing team, he taunts the entire home crowd. In 2015, Cam Newton was straight up dominating the NFL week in and week out. During his prime, he was an absolute stud and couldn't be stopped. He even won the NFL MVP award for his efforts. Was he the classiest MVP in history? Probably not. After scoring a touchdown against the Titans to all but guarantee the victory, Newton danced and dabbed in the end zone in Tennessee. It's one thing to celebrate at your home stadium, but to taunt the Titan fans like that? Ruthless. Not only that, but when the Titans players tried to make him stop, he just kept dancing. I guess the MVP can do whatever he wants. A lot of people would say the next player on our list was the classiest MVP in the NFL, but even he lost his composure in this next moment when he started screaming at his own teammate like a maniac. After failing to convert in the red zone, Colts center Jeff Saturday suggested that maybe running the ball a little more could benefit the offense. Superstar Peyton Manning was not open to suggestions in that moment and went absolutely berserk in front of his entire team. Talk about disrespect. Take a chill pill, Peyton, and maybe get some therapy. Everyone loves scoring touchdowns, especially during important games. Celebrating is expected, but what this next player did will shock you. During the 2004 NFC wildcard matchup against the Green Bay Packers, Randy Moss caught a deep touchdown pass in the 4th quarter to put his team up by 2 touchdowns. Moss was known to be one of the most talented wide receivers, but also had one of those bad boy personalities that drive coaching staffs nuts. After scoring his touchdown, he pretended to pull his pants down and shoot the moon to the Green Bay fans. Oh my God, Becky, look at that butt. Joe Buck called the play disgusting, but to be honest, we thought it was hilarious. Next up is a player that took Randy Moss's touchdown dance to a whole other level against his former team. Isaiah Crowell's career never really panned out as the running back for the Cleveland Browns. During his first matchup against his former team, he managed to score a touchdown, and his touchdown dance made it clear that he was harboring some negativity towards the Browns. He mimed pulling his pants down and also pretended to wipe his badonkadonk with the football before throwing it into the crowd. Ew, gross. I wonder if the fans were racing to catch that football. The disrespect in this video is eating us alive. But you know what else is driving us nuts? That you haven't subscribed to our channel yet. So do it now, or we'll pull a Michael Boley on you. As a linebacker, Michael Boley didn't get many opportunities to score touchdowns. When he charged this fumble in for a score, he may have gotten a little bit too excited. He took the opportunity to throw the football as hard as he could into the face of an intern who was shadowing a cameraman working for the Giants. Boley showed no remorse, and the broadcasters didn't even acknowledge what he did. I guess no one respects the intern. Poor guy must have been devastated. At 13, we feature a player that was so disrespectful that we could have made a whole video just on him. However, it is only fitting to showcase his grand finale in our top 20. Antonio Brown has been so disrespectful throughout his entire NFL career that he can't get a job despite being one of the most talented wide receivers in history. This moment here was the last straw. He refused to go into the game, took off his shoulder pads, and just left the field. This was pretty disrespectful considering the Buccaneers were the last team that was willing to give him a chance after all his previous antics. Some players retire by riding off into the sunset. AB retired by digging himself a deep hole in hell. Was Antonio Brown the biggest egomaniac to ever play wide receiver in the NFL? He might have been. Or maybe the next player that makes our list was an even bigger jerk-off. You guessed it, I'm talking about the one and only Terrell Owens. One of the most talented football players ever who seemed like he couldn't get along with anyone. On this trip to Dallas, he pissed off the Cowboys by celebrating his first touchdown dance on the Cowboys star in the middle of the field. Cowboys running back Emmitt Smith took back ownership of his home team's logo when he scored. It wasn't over though. Owens scored his second touchdown of the game and ran directly to center field to taunt the Cowboys team and fans in their own house one more time. This was the ultimate act of disrespect to a storied franchise like the Dallas Cowboys. George Teague took exception by chasing Owens and tackling him mid-celebration, and rightfully so. After the game, his own head coach Steve Mariucci was so ashamed by the disrespect shown by his wide receiver that he suspended him for an entire week. Terrell Owens never learned his lesson no matter how many times he got punished. Number 11 on our list features a moment when the polarizing wide receiver mocked one of the toughest players of all time. Ray Lewis made himself famous by being one of the most feared linebackers in the history of football and also being an incredible leader. The guy just knew how to get his teammates fired up before game time. One of his famous antics was his iconic pregame dance. When the Eagles matched up against Lewis's Ravens and Owens scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter, I bet you could guess how he decided to celebrate. That is right. He did the Ray Lewis dance in the end zone in front of Ray Lewis himself. T.O. must be a brave guy because I would be terrified of that menace. Wow, what a nutcase. Speaking of iconic dances, do you remember how Marshawn Lynch celebrated his Beastquake touchdown against the New Orleans Saints in 2011? He scored one of the craziest touchdowns of all time and capped it off by grabbing his you-know-what as he flew into the end zone. That was one of the greatest plays we have ever seen in our lives. The next play on our list is so disrespectful that he mocked beast mode. Marshawn Lynch played the best years of his career for the Seattle Seahawks, but only true NFL fans will remember that he briefly came out of retirement to represent his hometown Oakland Raiders for a couple of seasons in 2017 and 2018. When the Rams came to visit Oakland, Marcus Peters took the opportunity to steal Lynch's famous celebration in front of the Raiders crowd. In the fourth quarter, the Oakland-born quarterback intercepted a pass and took it all the way to the house for a pick six. Before passing the goal line, he flipped in the air like a dolphin and grabbed his nuts as if to say, "Suck on these, Raiders." Peters got fined $13,000 for that cocky gesture. When asked, he said, "Yeah, it's a lot of money, but it was worth it." Damn, I wish I had that kind of dough. Marcus Peters wasn't a one-time offender. The disrespectful cornerback made another appearance in our video for his actions, this time towards a referee. Josh McCown dodged, dipped, dived, ducked, and dodged defenders as he backed his way all the way to the 25-yard line on a two-point conversion attempt. There was no play to be made. The Chiefs' backfield had the Jets' wideouts locked up like mango on sticky rice. McCown's only option was to throw up a prayer towards the end zone that landed nowhere near any of his receivers. Just as the Chiefs were about to begin celebrating, the referee bailed out the Jets, holding against the offense. Oh, Marcus Peters did not like that call. He got right up in the ref's grill and disrespected him. He threw the ball into the crowd, then he threw the flag into the crowd. I'd hate to see what he would throw into the crowd next if the ref didn't eject him from the game for his antics. It is a shame when innocent or undeserving people are victims of disrespect, but is it a shame when violent criminals fall victim to disrespect? Watch number 8 in our video and we'll let you make that judgment for yourself. Former NFL linebacker Vontaze Burfict earned a bad reputation for being one of the dirtiest football players ever. He didn't give a damn about his opponents or their health. He spent his entire career headhunting and cheap-shotting. So, when Juju Smith-Schuster saw Burfict running across the field with his head down, he took the opportunity to flatten him like a banana pancake. Not only did he mash the linebacker's brains into the middle of next week, he then stood over his fetal body and shouted smack talk down at his face. How disrespectful and satisfying. Getting traded must not feel very good. Imagine your team deciding that they don't need you anymore. Next up is a player that was clearly offended after his team decided to trade him away. In 2010, the Chicago Bears decided to trade away their star wide receiver Brandon Marshall away to the Miami Dolphins. The rumor was that the reason they shipped him off was because he didn't get along with the Bears quarterback Jay Cutler. When Marshall got his chance to play against his former team, he caught the football for a first down and then disrespectfully flipped it over to his ex-QB on the sidelines. The two men then traded trash talk before Marshall got penalized for his pettiness. If you thought that breakup was bad, watch what this next player did against his former team. Forget about getting traded, Deshaun Jackson was flat out cut by the Eagles because his head coach Chip Kelly hated his guts. Deshaun decided to do the most spiteful thing he could by signing with the team's divisional rival, the Washington Redskins. The first chance he got to play against his former team in Philly, he managed to get revenge and show them how little he respected them. First, he ran the ball in backwards to taunt his former teammates. Then, he started flapping his arms like an eagle before making a kicking motion as if to say, "I kick eagle butt." Revenge is a dish best served cold, and Deshaun Jackson is cold as a puck. The Eagles must have been pretty embarrassed after Jackson did them dirty like that, but the Rams must have been humiliated when this next receiver disrespected them by making this next play look way too easy. Golden Tate made an incredible catch and then taunted the Rams for 30 yards as he made this touchdown look as easy as a light Sunday afternoon jog. Wow, how embarrassing. He's just like, "Adios, amigos, hope you learn to do your jobs a little better sometime next year." No wonder the Rams relocated to Los Angeles. I would be too ashamed to show my face in St. Louis again too after getting disrespected like that. Rivalries between wide receivers and cornerbacks are nothing new in the NFL. Could you imagine a pro athlete preparing all week to make your life miserable? Sounds infuriating. These players became so fed up with their opponents that they started acting like children on the football field. Whenever the Giants and Panthers used to play each other, we all knew that two of the biggest trash talkers in the NFL were going to bash heads for 4 quarters straight. Odell Beckham Jr. and Josh Norman hated each other's guts. It's one thing to be competitive, but the way they treated each other was completely disrespectful. None of their teammates could settle them down. Someone should have probably checked these babies' diapers because that type of behavior is unacceptable. Some people believe that winning with class is the sign of a great champion. If that is the case, the next player in our video definitely doesn't qualify as such. During the 2021 season, Tyreek Hill burned cornerback Antoine Winfield multiple times for touchdowns. So when Winfield stopped Hill during the 4th quarter during the Super Bowl, he disrespected him in front of millions of people. It takes a lot of guts to talk smack during a close game, but during a blowout, come on Winfield, you're better than that. Check him out, he was like, "Peace out, loser." Show some class, this is the Super Bowl, bro. Yeesh. That's like taking the watch off of a dead guy. Speaking of stealing jewelry, watch what happened during this game at number 2 in our video. Aqib Talib and Michael Crabtree are two of the biggest hotheads in the NFL. However, Talib took trash talk too far when he ripped Michael Crabtree's chain off of his neck during a football game. What a douchebag. Next time they played against each other, guess what happened? Talib did it again. He ripped Crabtree's chain off of his neck a second time. That takes disrespect to a whole new level. Crabtree responded by going nuts and a huge brawl broke out on the football field. Hooligans, I tell ya. Last but not least is another moment featuring Michael Crabtree, but this time he gets absolutely shredded by a player that clearly didn't respect him at all. In 2013, the 49ers and the Seahawks had a heated rivalry. The two teams weren't only in the same division, but both rosters were filled with ferocious personalities. When they met in the NFC Championship game, things got pretty intense. Richard Sherman locked down Crabtree on the final play of the game and completely lost his cool. First, he taunted the wide receiver in his lowest moment by slapping his butt. After that, he called him weak, mediocre, and sorry on national television. He basically dragged Crabtree's reputation right through the dirt. And that is how Richard Sherman earned the number 1 spot on our list of most disrespectful NFL moments. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, I hope you gave it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to our channel for more great NFL-related content. And check out the video up on your screen to keep the good time rolling.